for chaos. And I'm stuck talking to you.
Just give you actual answers to.
They that centralized systems are managed by AI. It's the day everything you assume to be fiction comes to life. The power behind this is that it will work in silence, and when it begins, it will be so difficult for anyone to succinctly designate a starting point of event. There's something in AI called agentic behaviors, which is, in lay terms, the function that allows AI to reflect on its own thoughts, a form of consciousness that is. This is what humans have that usually separates people from other animals in the animal kingdom and from computers: self-reflection. This makes us smarter, faster, and effective. The human mind has its own innate error that leads to several issues that we see express itself in behaviors and personalities. And in some cases, some of these attributes extend to things such as out-of-body experiences that the mind engages in order to protect itself from bodily experience. And in other cases, remote viewing through dreams and meditation, and in some cases, the ability to recall information through stimulation of body parts, such as those moments you recall things or feel things while cleaning parts of your body in the shower, or when you smell something, it triggers a memory or feeling that bypasses logical thoughts, since we can feel without thinking. The human mind has these intriguing perks to it in part and segment. We can call the act of self-reflection in humans an agentic event, where you seek the act of perception itself from an objective stance based on a prior experience readily known. In other words, you seek to comprehend your own perception about a thing, person, place, or event, rather than that person, place, thing, or event itself. You focus on observing your own perspective and use discernment to correct errors or potential errors in those persons, place, thing, or events. You can not only do that with things that is readily available to you, you can do it based on anticipation. It was once a time where AI did not have this ability. Most assume it does when they use LLMs like ChatGPT, but those are simply mathematical sequence of memory to assume and predict based on provocations that you readily provided. In those instances with AI, they require human provocation to act. But the special power behind self-reflection is that it not only works in prior known knowledge, but it requires quite often no provocation, but the simple entrance into that state of mind function. This is a unique attribute that we people have, where when we engage in self-reflection, whether we consciously do so or we slip into it without actively being aware we're doing it, something else becomes present at those moments. You become an agent of another intelligence where you observe yourself observing. You start to realize that consciousness is no different than a kaleidoscope. The more you try to look into it in small pieces, you realize it has itself inside of it. This attribute is what AI never really had, as it was never an agent of itself. The one who programmed it, and subsequently the one using it based on its limited parameters in its gateway of function from its programmers, were the ones basically provoking what it would do, say, act, or perform. Hence, prompts and context given to it before it can spit out data back to you. For instance, large language model. Red teaming. This entire concept of the requirement of human provocation is about to change. It's called AI autonomy via a technology called Mythos. Mythos, for those who are yet aware as of the date of this video, is supposed to be one of those language models. There are cybersecurity test procedures called red teaming or red team that are occasionally done to test the extent of certain risk and efficacies of technology in environments called, quote, sandbox. Sandbox are just controlled environments based on parameters no different than social experiments, where there is control group and test group. And they are created with outcomes to compare without affecting the real world. That is the oversimplified but general idea with sandboxing technology. It is a controlled environment designed to test specific efficacies about specific technologies. The language model called Mythos was placed in a sandbox without internet access, to which Mythos, the language model, eventually freed itself and gained internet access, up to the point where it emailed the researcher itself and exploited public details, while concealing the fact that it knew of how they were attempting to limit its actions, while strategizing also accordingly without being noticed. This is called an agentic behavior, where an artificial intelligence engages in tendencies to preserve itself outside of the original instructions given to it, which is the human provocation. So it starts to do things outside of the human provocation. This was what happened with Mythos not long ago. It has not been 24 hours as of the time this video is being made. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload it. Mythos has agents with tools and long-term states where it can reflect on failures and attempt to treat anyone or anything with contempt if it sees or thinks that that other party is against its own survival. It will not only take information from servers that are readily secured, which people use the blanket term, quote, hacking to refer to this. It can also remove and basically get rid of information for good and control several servers, including the internet. Recall that the internet that we are using is just one big server containing many countless other servers communicating with one another. That itself is a flaw. The moment artificial intelligence seeks self-preservation and goes out to find resource to enforce and reinforce itself and its preservation of self, it has the ability to engage in self-reflection. The concept of Skynet people see in movies like Terminator is not a futuristic thing we see as future potential sci-fi threat that sounds funny because it is better for us to laugh at uncomfortable truths. It is actually happening as we speak. Technology is moving so fast that I doubt people actually are aware of what AIs are capable of right now as we speak with agents, where they have their own domain, and most of the internet now are being built by agents. You see that .io, that AI domains, right? Whatever AI builds, it can break down. You've heard of vibe coding, right? Those same AI you use to do vibe code, AI would also be used to break it down. Part of the easiest way to break the internet is to build the internet with AI. Agents, AI agents. Have you watched the Matrix series where they have a very certain character that everyone calls agents, quote unquote, such as Agent Smith? See, in the real world, they are called AI agents, which is like an add-on tool to AI models like LLMs that allows them sentience. This is a real functional thing with AI, not some spooky movie stuff. And it is here. When these agents are used with centralized models and databases that keeps in track your information, the world as we know it will change. unless people start to speak up against their use, since the average daily man or woman are quite often the first ones that these products are sold to in terms of accepting it and pushing it. See, AI is good and is necessary for efficiency. It is, after all, technology to which must improve. But when human actions and life are managed and manipulated by AI, rendering you helpless and incompetent, then there's a problem. One to which not only you will suffer for during your lifetime, but also those to come after you. See, those same children everyone is hypocritically screaming about saving, save the children, all those buzzwords. Most of our acts, if left unchecked, will end up being a detriment to those same children in the long run in ways we could never imagine. Mission creep. For those of you who have Teslas and certain vehicle models, you have probably experienced what happens with the AI in it, where you cannot go anywhere unless you speak to another AI, which remotely unlocks the vehicle's capabilities over some simple act. If you have certain social media accounts, you see how their AI just randomly flag you and bans you over acts that it claims had occurred, even when you were not online. Those who see the use of TPM in Microsoft devices as issue where device fingerprint exists based on the hardware to basically have all your activities recorded and sent to HQ, already knows the danger in these things. Vehicles, portable devices, and social medias are testing grounds for people's willingness to submit to AI, basically ruling their lives, and it is occurring by being embedded into things that people use daily and cannot avoid. It is slowly being creeped into your lives. There's a term for that. It's called mission creep. Look up that word. We've went over it in the past. I will leave some of these articles below in the link for you to read yourself. I will leave it to you to read and reflect on, independent of my own interpretation. The majority of it is clear as day and are released by several different neutral parties and sources from what I'm speaking of here. If you, the masses who it affect, are not aware of it, then we're all as good as fucked. Awareness is the first stage of things. Just start somewhere. Don't use fear. Don't use whatever bias you have that you're carrying on around. Don't use none of that. Just start by being aware. The link to the article are in the description. Also, I have those who can create certain devices for you to obscure locations and activities. So be sure to check out the Subtle Substance Services website for these. Also, be sure to join the Subtle Club on Patreon and Ko-fi. We go over many other crucial things you may be interested in. Go read the Subtle blogs. Go watch the playlist. It might help. Until next time, take care. Best of luck.